great to have you here on our show. And I want you to talk to me a little bit. I know that you've been doing a lot of really great work with SAG-AFTRA, just getting out there, speaking about the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion in entertainment. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that and what you're doing to promote inclusiveness in the industry.
Look, I am, we talk about the protocols that we had for COVID, and I know SAG-AFTRA, some of our leaders were knee deep in the conversations to help create those protocols. I mean, I've been so thankful to my union my entire career. In fact, when I first said I was going to become an actor, my mother, nobody gets crazy excited if you're not in the industry about your child saying, I'm going to go become an actor and run off to Hollywood, because parents get afraid for their children because you understand it's a hard business. The fact that there was a union is one thing that helped give my mother some peace of mind, because she was president of the teachers union. My mother was a teacher where I grew up. And so she that made sense to her, that there's somebody looking out for you. And so I've been using that platform through SAG-AFTRA to fight for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, we've been doing work lately, having conversations in the stunt community, because the numbers aren't there when it comes to performers of color with stunts. And so we're trying to figure out why that is and how can we increase that. And some great people in the stunt community are taking it on, and rather than getting defensive about it, they're saying, yes, we want to increase diversity. Let's have that conversation. And so that's been a really productive conversation. We're having conversations with IATSE, the hair union, because we realize, there's with performers of color, with Black folks in particular, hair is an issue and has been for some time, texture of hair. And so we've been having conversations with IATSE about how do we make sure that there are qualified hairstylists who know how to work with textured hair and that sort of thing. And that's been, and it's a thing that I think every Black actor has been aware of, but has felt like it was not worth getting into because you just want to show up and want to work. But now we're at a state in our world, and especially in our state, this is one of the blessings about being in California, where we really focus on those issues. We really have those conversations. And having that hard conversation, great things come out of it. So we've been having really productive conversations with IATSE, and every Black performer I've talked to is like, thank goodness, because, it makes a difference. I know women who have to get up, 2-3 hours before they shoot because they've got to make sure their hair is good, and so it's a making, and when you say it to a hairstylist, they say that shouldn't be the case. You say, well, let's have that conversation. And so everybody's having this productive conversation, but it's, it's because the unions get together to make it happen. I've spent, for the last 5-6 years, I've gone to the Writers Guild. WGA does a showrunners boot camp for people who are probably going to be creating and writing and running shows in the next few years. And they do a boot camp where they teach you how not just to be a good writer, because you wouldn't be there if you weren't already a good writer, but they teach you how to write to a budget, how to run a writer's room, how to do all these things that, that you don't realize you're going to be a manager of a lot of different people. And they teach them those things, but they have a day where they actually get into the diversity conversation. And I chair SAG-AFTRA's Diversity Advisory Committee, which is kind of like I always refer to it as the United Nations of all the protected classes, where we come together because we have similar issues. So it's seniors, women's committee, the performers with disabilities, as well as ethnically and racially based protected groups. And so we come together to have conversations. And so chairing that has been a great, great piece of service for me. I've enjoyed it so much. And so going in to talk with the WGA to help try and empower these showrunners to what kind of things they have to be on the lookout for that from an acting perspective, and also to know how to use us as actors to help. I know that this thing may be a cost, but ultimately it's the best thing for the show, both in terms of the story we produce and in terms of how your performers feel about the show. So it's those pieces have been great opportunities to help further the DEI conversation. Because at the end of the day, we're Hollywood. We're Hollywood. We're where people. We're the mirror that gets held up to the country and really to the world. And so, look, there are people who've written entire, dissertations about how television had a Black president. And then a few years later, we had our first Black president of the country for real. That Hollywood gave America the test run and said, oh, it's not a problem. It doesn't bother me. It's not a big deal. Nobody freaked out. And then we actually had a president, and I think the guy did okay. I'm a fan.
You know what? I couldn't agree with you more. Another example of that is in Ukraine, that the president of Ukraine played the president of Ukraine before he was elected. I was there monitoring the elections, observing the elections, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I can't believe it. Especially somebody who had worked in production on a soap opera, and this is coming to fruition in real time, and I'm over there in Kyiv watching this happen. It was amazing. But I couldn't agree with you more. And that goes to the point of kind of content and pushing back on stereotypes and all of those kind of things without censorship, but just respect and understanding and having these important conversations to move all of this forward.
Absolutely. I mean, because the reality is what I love about the moment we're in right now is that censorship is when the government does it. And I keep saying to friends, I'm like, Hollywood sees one color, green. Does it make money? And is it good story? Good story makes money. And so the greatest return on your investment is when you have a multicultural cast. I mean, Fast and the Furious, multicultural cast doing super cool stuff. Crazy amounts of money, can't stop printing money. Everybody feels like they have a place at that table. Everybody wants to go see it. It's a lot of things that make sense. And so what I love about the place we're in right now is I feel like the business model has now changed because of technology, because of streaming. Now you have a subscription service where you need to keep people enticed and they need to pay attention. You don't want them to get rid of their subscription before next month. So every different community needs to know that there's something on there waiting for them. Women need to know there's something for them on that streaming service. Young people, older people, people of color. And so diversity is a requirement of the business model now in a way that, so it's the opportunities have opened up in a way they never have before. And I keep telling my friends, I'm like, look, number one, be a good actor. But number two, either try writing or find a good writer, because you need to find the stories, tell the stories that you're excited about telling, because there's somebody out there who might hear you and you might get it on air. And that's something that you couldn't have said 15 years ago. It's
so true. And I'm a strong believer in the ability of art to break down social barriers and promote 100%. Social cohesion. So keep at it, Jason George. That's terrific. And now we're going to move to our lightning round. So here we go. Thank you.
Bring it. Come on, Colleen. What you got?
Okay. Favorite place to film in the state of California?
Favorite place to film in the state of California? You know what? I've actually never filmed there, but as a kid, I remember the first time I went to the Bat Cave, hidden up in Griffith Park. So I had to film it on my own camera. Beyond that, I will say Disney has a ranch that is out there, and there are so many different kinds of sets on that ranch. It's amazing. You can do a million different things there. It's
so cool. Santa Clarita, I know, I've been there. It's just great. Your favorite way to spend a Saturday night?
Family movie night, hands down. That's a regular thing. And in the pandemic, it was almost every night, but family movie night is pretty much reserved for Saturdays. This is where I feel like we were reasonably successful as parents. My 17-year-old is around for 60, 70% of Saturday night movie night. So I think we're doing something okay. He does not run from family movie night. So we're doing okay.
As a mother of 4, with every year that goes by, that percentage is probably going to be reduced. I'm just warning you. Doesn't mean he doesn't want to watch the movie with you.
I thought it would have been nothing by now. He's 17, and I expect him to be gone. And he's gone a lot, but I'm just saying we're doing okay.
You're doing great. One word to describe California.
Sunny. I mean that literally, and I mean that kind of spiritually as well. Sunny.
I love that. What's your favorite beach?
Oh, you know what? I fell in love. It should be someplace near me, but the truth is, we kind of felt, when we first got into California, we would go to La Jolla a lot. There's something about, I come from a military town and a beach town. I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and La Jolla makes a lot of sense to me in terms of that, both military with the bases so nearby, Pendleton and all that, and also so it's familiar.
Sunrise or sunset?
Wow. Okay. Here's the thing. I grew up watching sunrises over the ocean, and that's one of my favorite things in the world. But now I live in California, so I've grown partial to sunsets over the ocean. So now I'm sunsets.
Coffee or tea?
Tea. I'm married to an Indian woman. It's tea all day. We have to find the coffee machine when friends come over. We're at a tea house. She's an immigrant from India. It's tea.
Cats or dogs?
I'm a dog guy. Cats don't care about you. Cats are not concerned about you. Dogs.
Favorite movie?
Oh, you know what? I'm a Casablanca guy. That's my all-time favorite. Heck, beyond that, Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman, one of the best performances that's ever been put down on film. Casablanca, very close second to Shawshank Redemption.
Very nice. Profession you would like to attempt other than your own?
Wow. And I'm going to skip out of the industry entirely. I would have loved to. I was going to be a lawyer. I actually had gotten tight with the Supreme Court justice in Virginia, and that was the whole plan. And so I took an acting class, and then everything changed up. I would love to argue a case in front of the Supreme Court someday. It's never going to happen. So, but you know.
Fantastic. Yeah, but I bet you could, and I bet you can. Jason George, thank you so much for joining us on Spotlight California. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Colleen. It's been fun.